I am a huge proponent of having more than one place to call home. So I'm always going to be on the side of what do you have to lose? Just do it, get it done, give it a try. But I would not be a good steward, so to speak, if I did not share the other side of moving abroad, right? So while I'm a huge proponent that every Black American should think of places that they may want to have a second home or they may want to, um, visit other people that are there or whatever, just have a plan B. Um, I am definitely very well aware that all that glitters isn't gold, right? There are some things that we should all be aware of as we are in this planning process. There will be some challenges, and some of them, are obvious, and then there's others that until you go through it, you may not know. So today we're going to explore some of those challenges, not all of the challenges, just some of the challenges so that you have a insight to what you can expect as you're planning, to potentially relocate or move abroad or exit, right? So first, let me introduce myself to those who don't know. I am Kim, aka Kim with the Gems. Welcome to the channel. I'm in the midst of a series. It was only supposed to be 7 days, a 7-day live series on getting ready, well, staying ready so you don't have to get ready. And it's all about moving abroad and everything that I've learned or, in personal experiences or have learned from others. But I have a few more topics I would love to cover. So this will probably be extended. It was supposed to end tomorrow. Our live tomorrow is at 9 a.m. and it's about how and why I decided to get Mexican residency and a little bit of, how it's changed me or has it changed me, right? So that's tomorrow's live, but then moving into next week. I'm not sure what dates, but there's going to be more lives. And I'm not sure if it's every date. There's about 8 more topics I want to cover. Not sure if it's going to be pre-recorded, or which ones are going to be pre-recorded. It may be a little, hodgepodge of live and pre-recorded, but turn on the notifications, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel so you'll be updated. I always try to post in the community tab whenever we're going live and whenever I post a new video. So on this channel, we talk all things wellness, travel, and health, and finances. So that's wellness, travel, and finances from a cultural perspective. Happy Friday, everyone. I know there's games and I believe there's a fight or something going on. So let's really just, start talking about the topic at hand. A lot of people, when they start this planning process, they are looking at it through rose-colored glasses. And it's understandable. It's something new, it's something different, it's something exciting. But like I mentioned earlier, there are potential hazards that we should all be aware of. And today, like I said, we're going to go over those potential hazards. And I don't want this to stop anyone from thinking about, considering, and or pursuing their dreams of moving abroad, but just to be aware and put this in your your toolkit of things to reference and think about as you're on this journey. Well, and also speaking of toolkits, some of you may know, thank you for the ones who've already supported. If you look in the description, if you look in the description, there's some links to some resources for you. One of the resources is a From Here to There guide with over 100 clickable links to 8 of the most popular move abroad countries, especially as it relates to the Black exodus, right? And you'll be able to quickly link, do research without having to comb through all of the internet to find this information. It includes everything from topics on, where to live, how to find out more about cost of living, also healthcare and healthcare insurance and all of the good things. So you can hit the link in the description. There's also a plan, then produce 28-day stay accountable. It's accountability workbook that helps you stay on track by making commitments like to yourself, making your word your bond, so to speak. And so that's also available. And there's also a 300 things manifestation journal, excuse me, a 300 things manifestation journal and tracker. And it's a great way to think out the box. Many of us that try to do our vision boards at the top of the year, we do two or three things that we, not maybe two, maybe 10 things that we will put on our vision boards. Well, this is a huge challenge to think bigger, to think, dream bigger, to know that God wants bigger for you, right? So the manifestation journal and tracker is based off of Steve Harvey's. um, I think he did did something on his show where he talked about all of the most professional people that he knows. This is how they operate from a huge landscape. And we're talking everyone from Tabitha Brown and Oprah Winfrey, who all validate this is a great way to help them stay on track and get things accomplished. You write it down, you make it plain, you put it in the universe, and you do the work. The good news is today we hit over 4,000 subscribers. And if you get all three it's a bundle on the site. So if you purchase all three, there's a 25% discount, which brings all three of those to about $30. So super great deal. Um, get it while you can. I'm gonna leave it up for a little while. And then yeah, and then the larger resource guide, the massive Move Abroad directory, will be available starting next week. So, um, before we get into the hazards real quick, let's talk about the good, right? So earlier today, I posted a video about how there's so many lies out there. So don't believe the lies about how scary or how dangerous or how, you know, just how bad things are in other countries that is not our country. Trust and believe Black Americans are thriving abroad, and especially in Mexico. So I'm gonna put a link to that video so you could check out um, just a day in the life of us being in community in Mexico and what that looks like. I'll do a couple more from, different events so you can really see that the community is big, it's loving, and we're out there. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get into some of the hazards. There's definitely more ups than downs. There's more upside than downside, but I would hate, well, I would be wrong to say everything, is, like I said earlier, peaches and cream. So let's just get started. All of this is just for you to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And scammers are going to scam, right? That's one thing you will find out whenever you are especially if you're in a country where you don't speak the language, and if they're looking at you from a pot of gold type point of view, meaning they know you're American. The dollar is still really, really strong. So if you go to many other countries, there may be some scamming going on. So you just have to be aware, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Overinflated prices is nothing uncommon. And I'm specifically talking about from like real estate to rentals to immigration services. So if you're looking to get your visas and you want to hire somebody I mean, there's so much confusion even in Mexico. Like people think they need a lawyer to get the work done once they get to Mexico. I did it myself. I had no lawyer. Um, and it's you really don't need a lawyer. They're actually called facilitators, but some people will hire lawyers thinking they need that and pay way too much money to get their residency card in Mexico. And I'm sure that happens across the globe. So just knowing is more than half of the battle, and knowing that scams do exist. And even when it comes to housing, real estate, or I should say Airbnb versus realtors, um, you have to be careful with that because a lot of these countries, Airbnb, they will scam bigger and quicker than if you went to a realtor, right? So realtors are they're more pressed to have a good reputation because they want you to refer, right? They want referrals, right? Whereas if you go on Airbnb, there are so many horror stories from many people that I know that have, used Airbnb in Mexico, in Spain, wherever, because the way to get things fixed or done, the recourse is challenging because you're chatting with bots, right? Whenever you have a problem, you have to go through the whole, not really speaking to a human thing first. And most times, their goal is just to make sure you stay and they get to keep the money and that they don't have to discount and all of that. Whereas conversely, with the realtor, um, you can pick up the phone, you can call someone, and I'm talking rentals. I'm not even talking about just purchasing. Of course, with purchasing, you're going to use a realtor, but most of these countries, you can use a realtor to find your rental versus going through an Airbnb situation. And so, in the massive Move Abroad directory, a list of realtors for a lot of the major cities that we're covering will be included as well. And these are references from people who have used their services. Um, Also, a lot of these Airbnb hosts know that you can be easily manipulated. They're waiting for the person that doesn't like to push back. They're waiting for the person who feels like they're in a foreign country and there's nothing they can do. So just know that when you're weighing your options, Airbnb is not always necessary. It may be the easiest route, but it's not necessarily the best. With realtors, you may have to, speak to someone versus using an app, but it may be worth it in the end. And that's been my experience and experiences of people that I know. And like I said, there's usually a recourse, right? There's a way to contact somebody. If there's a problem with the unit, they're more inclined to fix it expeditiously. And just like I said, scammers are going to scam, people are going to people. Be careful when you are, in that euphoric stage of moving abroad and you're, quick to just meet people and tell them everything about you and all your deep secrets and all of that. You can really let your guard down when you are in these beautiful countries with palm trees or great weather and everyone's smiling. But know, trust, and believe that some of the people that have relocated, they relocated not for the best reasons. Like everyone's not relocating for the same reason. Some people are relocating because they're looking for, a better life, a better quality of life. They may have children. They have, concerns about, sending their kids to school here in the U.S. Then there's other people that relocate because they were released from prison. And they can, avoid all of the other stuff that comes, not necessarily saying they're on the run or anything like that, but it's harder for people to find employment in the US if you have a record. So some people, and listen, I've met some, have relocated because uh, they just didn't feel like they had a chance staying in the US. So be careful because People are going to people, and if they have had any type of trauma that they may have had traumas that they had in the US that they never dealt with, and they're bringing those traumas back or not back, but they're bringing those traumas to the US as well. Not to excuse me, somebody just commented, I'm trying to get to that. Hi, just saying, good to see you. I don't know what was so funny, but yeah, people are gonna people, scammers are gonna scam. So yeah, um, let me get back to my notes. Sorry, I don't want to forget anything, and I want to kind of get through this so that if there's any questions, we have a little time for that. But yes, so people, there's ex-cons, there's people who are in abusive relationships, there's people that are, relocating because of homelessness. There's a whole list of reasons why people are moving abroad, but they may not readily share that with you, nor should they. I don't know if that should be a requirement, but it's just up to us to know that everyone that you meet may not be worthy of your time, your energy, and all of that good stuff. There are people that were simply ready to leave because of emotional or financial challenges. And, you know, whatever you don't deal with will ultimately deal with you. It doesn't matter if you go over the border, if you get on a plane, whatever. So you just have to be cautious when you're meeting people because everyone is not who they say they are. Just to say that again, everyone is not who they say they are. And I'm not going to give, I might later, I might give some firsthand experiences that I've had. But just know that I want you to be cautious. I want you to be careful when you are, even before you get on the ground there, if you start joining these social media groups, these communities, just be cautious of the information that you share, the information that you provide about yourself. You just don't know who's who. And if you saw some of my other videos, like the hackers are going to hack. Hackers may pose, somebody may be posing to be somebody who's looking to relocate on these platforms only to get your information. So just be cautious. Just be cautious. And as I mentioned, there may be some, people who have done time. There also are people that go abroad completely in addictions, whatever those addictions are. I'm not going to call any specific ones out, but there are closeted addicts that you may never know are addicts until you hear a little birdie or you see something, to see your somebody sitting too close to your purse or anything, or something like that. So just know, this is not really to speak down on people, but it's really just to let anyone who's planning to do research about moving abroad, knowing that these things exist. It's not, I see too many happy go lucky people who are just willing to open their homes to people. Oh, you're moving to Portugal. Oh, come stay with me. Never having met them before. And then the horror stories start. The horror stories. And I've heard horror stories. So just be careful when you are fostering new relationships and ask the right questions, pay attention to your intuition, all that good stuff. And know also that everyone is not where you are and vice versa. And with that, there's also jealousy. There are people that may be jealous of your family life. There may be people who are jealous of your financials. There may be people who are just jealous of your aesthetics. And no, a lot of that travels too. It's not like these issues go away once people get on a plane and move abroad. So just be cautious. I've witnessed a lot of things, and as much as I love to talk about all of the positives about planning to move abroad and moving abroad, please be aware that there are some things you need to just keep your eyes open on and be cautious with. Also, let's talk a little bit about the emotional struggles that happens when people, move abroad. And some of those have to do with forging relationships with people, deep relationships, deep connections, only for those people to decide, oh, this wasn't for me. And they move away. They either move back to the US or another country. And I've seen that really affect people, especially in Mexico, which a lot of the places that I go are very transient. So, meaning people will come, they'll fall in love, fall in love with the city, they'll stay for 6 months, a year and a half, and then they're gone. And then the people that they've developed like the closest relationships with feel a sense of emptiness. But just know this can be a transient experience. People may feel, okay, I did this wasn't a great fit for me, or they may have obligations that bring them back to the US. Whatever the issues are, you just have to be okay with that some of these friendships may be fleeting, and it's fine. Like, reason, season, lifetime. Right? Some people come into your life for a reason, some people come into your life for a season, and some people for a lifetime, and you have to appreciate each and every one of those areas. But I've seen that really affect people, especially ones that like had roommates and became really close with people. It left them, in a dark place. So just know that that is a possibility. Before I move on, I always forget to do this. If any of this information is helpful to you, go ahead and like this video, please. Please like the video. It simply helps, you know, Mr./Miss YouTube send the video out to more people. And I mentioned earlier, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because we are going live a few more times with the rest of this series on, staying ready for this move abroad, or what may potentially be in our future here in the States. Next is, you know, I mentioned earlier, don't tell all your business, because a lot of times, if you don't know where a person is financially, or, you know, how stable they are, there can be some shaming that goes with that. So you may have more money than this person, or you may have less money than that person. Each scenario can cause someone to shame you, be jealous of you. That kind of goes with the jealousy, but the shaming is a real thing for people who have already we come from a place of lack in this country, and then to see, others either doing better, or others, not having to, you know, get a studio apartment. Maybe they can get a luxury apartment in a penthouse, and then that could cause some animosity. And so I just urge you to be cautious of the information that you share. You can just be like Switzerland, don't say much. They don't know if you got money, you don't have money. Just be cautious. And then you become prey, the more information that you share. People will start to prey on you. You can hear a whole lot of sad sob stories about what, check didn't arrive this month, or what money they don't have, because they know you have. So just like here, you don't want to share your, financial status or information with random people, then don't do that when you go abroad with people that you don't know, other than the fact that you met them at a brunch or a lunch, or a WhatsApp group. So, yeah. This is the next point that I think is real. It's becoming more and more prevalent and popular. Not everyone wants us in these countries. Like, when we come, the majority of people, are probably fine. And when I say countries, let's just talk about the most popular ones that we're moving to. But, gentrification is happening across the globe. And when I say they don't want us there, I'm not even talking about just us. I'm talking about all of us, like anyone who is displacing them or making them feel like inflation, we're causing all the inflation, and you there's some real protests happening across the globe about the influx of, I think I know Spain, it's definitely happening. I think I heard some parts of the UK. Yeah, and I know in Mexico we hear about it, like, oh, we're displacing, the rents are going up so high that the natives, or the citizens can't afford to rent and things like that. We hear about it, but there haven't been any active protests that I'm aware of, but there are active protests. So just be cautious of that. So when you're planning your scouting or your visitation to this country, then just know and do your research and stay up to date. I spoke about this in another video. Make sure you're connected to the local news. Get that VPN so you can get the real news that's going on there. Again, there's a link for the VPN that I use, which is NordVPN, and you'll be able to place your IP address in that particular country and get the actual news that's being communicated there. So you want that information. Um, you also want to, excuse me, you also want to be cautious of um, trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. So what happens a lot of times is when we do these scouting trips, we don't scout as potential residents, we scout as tourists. We tend to go to the most pop-in restaurants or the all of the main attractions that the tourists go to, and all of this costs money. And you know, listen, I was guilty of it, especially when I went to Puerto Vallarta. I was everywhere, and it's not a cheap city. So I didn't really need to do that. I was there to experience Puerto Vallarta to see if it was someplace I could call home. So just like living in New York, I can't tell you the last time I went to the Statue of Liberty or to the Empire State Building. I recommend holding all that touristy stuff off until you get a sense of what it's really like to immerse yourself in that city and that culture. And so definitely keep a budget. I know budgets can be challenging, especially, you know, when you want to do different things, but you can get caught up real quick. Or just, you know, make it so like once a week we'll do a touristy thing. And if you're only there for a week, maybe it's only two tourist events. Like maybe we'll go see the pyramids, or maybe we'll go see this, and then try to find the free days that these things happen. Because a lot of times in these countries, there are free days, like maybe it's a Sunday or whenever the touristy days are not as busy, right? So check into those, but definitely don't overspend your money trying to be a tourist when your objective is to be a resident, right? Or to, you know, live there indefinitely. So, and also this leads me into, we talked about the less popular days. Before you do any moving or any scouting, I should say, be sure to go into that country's holiday calendar and see where their holidays are and what is open and what is closed. I know way too many people that got caught up thinking they were going to fly in and fly out, get their residency done like towards the end of December, and the government was shut down for like 2 weeks at the end of December. Now I think they don't close as long as they used to, but it used to be like they were closed from like the 10th of December until after the new year. And if you didn't know that and you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna go, you know, finalize my residency during my Christmas break," you were just SOL. You just did not know. And then there's other holidays, like whenever there's an election, there are holidays where the government offices are closed. You need to know when those are. And then they have other culturally relevant holidays that we're not aware of. And this is across the globe. So just make sure you do your research before you plan any trip to said country of interest, if you're there to, you know, do any work or you have any business that you need to take care of. Then also, let me get to, oh, yes. So don't overpack. When you do finally set that trip, right? When you get that day to that, those days together. And if you're going for a week, if you're going for 3 weeks, if you're going for 4 months, if you're going for a year, be conscious of, whatever it is that you pack. 9 times out of 10, you're going to overpack. Now, I do highly recommend if it comes to hair products, skincare products, any type of beauty products, um, or soaps or anything, go ahead and bring those. But when it comes to like clothing and shoes and all of that, less is more. 9 times out of 10, you are not going to use half of any of that stuff that you brought with you. So I heard about it in Spain and UK. Just saying, if you're still there, I missed that. I'm sorry, because I'm reading my notes. So I couldn't see the comments. Yes, always be on your guard, but you don't have to be on your guard to the point where you can't have any enjoyment, but definitely you want to not just fall for the okey doke. You definitely don't want to just fall for the okey doke. And so I just have two more things, I think it is. Yeah. So don't overpack. We talked about that. Definitely bring the beauty accessories that your budget allows. If you have any like medicines and stuff like that, definitely. But the clothes and accessories and all of that, yeah, you could leave that. You could leave most of that, at home. Even if you're, traveling for like 6 months, one suitcase would probably be fine in most places. Now, I'm not saying if it's a place that has multiple seasons, you got to pack a few coats and stuff like that. That's one thing. And I'm saying one suitcase per person. So definitely just be careful not to overpack. You don't even want to have to lug that stuff around. If you need to change locations, you don't have to worry about anyone thinking you have more than you know that you live in so large. Just pack less is more. And then only, let's say, two more things. Just be flexible. Really just be flexible when you travel. Just know that a lot of these other countries are not like ours, in the sense that some of their infrastructure may not be as sophisticated, meaning power outages. Power outages just don't happen when there's a storm. And especially like in places like Mexico or South America, power outages could happen on a beautifully sunny day as you're walking down the street. And that includes internet as well. So you want to make sure that you're just flexible and go with the flow, and don't let it upset you to the point where you're angry and you know, it's messing up your whole vibe, or you're getting mad at people. These people that are natives to these countries, they deal with this on a regular. So please just know that whenever you travel abroad, not to be preachy, um, you may not have all of the same conveniences that you get here. And so just be flexible, and primarily so it doesn't kill your vibe, so it doesn't mess up your vibe. You want to, enjoy your time and get the most out of the time that you're there. And just an example, like Mexico City right now is still in a water crisis. So there, I think I first heard about it at the top of the summer, and people couldn't even use water, couldn't pour, or were limited to the amount of water they were able to use. And so definitely know that it's not always going to be peaches and cream and euphoric, as I started out saying, but more often than not, it's going to be a good time. And so I just want to make sure I covered everything. Yes, so we talked about um oh, don't forget the 25% off sale for the bundle of the three ebooks that are available. Well, it's happening now. Thank you for the 4,000 plus subscribers. I truly appreciate it. This is passion project for me. I definitely want to make sure that we have options. And as I say in every video, you don't have freedom if you don't have options, period, point blank. You don't have freedom if you don't have options. So let's make sure we spread the word. If you don't mind, share this video with a friend, a family member, a coworker. Just, make sure we get the word out, and that we are all, at least thinking about it. And I know some of us aren't. I see some of the comments, I fought for my ancestors fought for this country, this and that. Everything ain't for everybody. But for those that are interested, those that want to be in community with people that are thinking about options or have options, be sure. Oh, just saying, you are so sweet. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I appreciate this. I appreciate this so much. Only because that just means, because I'm telling you, I saw some comments today. I'm just going to say one of them. Like, and of course, it's always the ones without the faces, right? Telling us to go to, was it Yemen? And basically telling, us to jump off a bridge or take, take 8 steps on a, 6-step plank or something like that. It was basically very, it was just horrible. Like and I know it's more of that coming. It's just, it doesn't bother me as much, but I see other people commenting, to support my message. And it's just, I don't want other people feeding into that. Like, this is about to get way worse than it gets better. It's about to get way, way worse. And I don't want us wasting any time or energy thinking about those people. And so me doing this is truly a passion project. So just saying, I truly, truly appreciate you donating to the cause. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But I will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. If you can't make it, catch the replay. And then tomorrow I'll know what time I'm coming back on Sunday. And I did have a list. I did want to go over the list of topics. Oh, I might have got the wrong book. Wait a minute. Okay. And then tomorrow I'm also going to post, it's not a live, but I do want people to start their own YouTube channels if they don't have it already, because our voice is so necessary. It is so critical right now that whatever insights and wisdom we have, I don't care if it's humor and to make us laugh through whatever's about to come our way, we need to do it. So I'm sharing Ashley's story, who started posting 2 years ago, and now she's in 2 years she got 50,000 subscribers. And so it's a clear message that our voice is needed and people want to hear from us. And the way this news is being corporate news is being handled, we need this type of information. And then we're going to talk about countries that are with free or low cost healthcare that may be, for some people, will be at the top of the list for places to explore. We're going to talk about getting your passport now and why, and what's going on with the Department of State. Tomorrow is the Mexican residency process. And there's others. So I don't want to give it all away, but there's about 4 more after that, maybe 5 that I want to do live before we I don't want to say in the live series, but maybe it's not an everyday thing. We'll see. It may turn into everyday thing, because I'm feeling so like the 2024 version of Harriet Tubman, meaning I want all y'all coming with me to Mexico. All y'all, come. Please come. And it will, visit other places and all of that. But I definitely just know how much more peaceful, as much as I love New York, especially in the summertime, there's something about being able to get away in the wintertime and just enjoying life. And now that I could do that legally as a resident, it just takes any fear of me having to come back home or not being able to cross the border out the way. And look, we're at 40 minutes again. So this whole week we've been doing about 40 minutes. I was trying to keep it at 30, but it's fine. It's fine. I thank everybody. Let's see what this is. Thank you for the info. Kevin R. I'm planning to leave US going step by step, physical first, passport renewal. Yes, I just renewed. Well, I'm waiting for the passport, but I have to renew my passport as well. And for anyone listening, if you have less than if you have 364 days left on your passport, renew it now, do it now, because they're making changes at the Department of State, as we know, and we don't know what those are going to look like. So try to get it done now. So anything less than a year, you can renew now. Less than a year for expiration. Finances and research, although I already chose a place. So thanks. Yay. I'm so happy. Listen, I'm telling you, Lord Jesus, this is just, listen, y'all may have me coming on live every day through the rest of the year. We'll see. But thank you. Thank you for that support. I appreciate all of you. And I'll be back tomorrow. And then again on Sunday, not sure what time Sunday, but I'll be back 9 a.m. tomorrow just to talk about the Mexican residency process. So anyway, thank everyone. Thank you so much for joining tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.